Hi, I'm currently exercising at Sunnyvale Baylands Park, and I like this camera angle because it makes the bill on my hat look super long. It's funny. But I'm here exercising this morning with this giant bill hat, and I just wanted to say that I wanted to talk about prayer and what prayer is. So there's this probability matrix that we call space-time. It's our interface of learning and growing. And so the way we can understand that is that probability existed before the universe. That's why there was a probability that the universe would come into being. There was a chance. And so we know for sure that probability existed before any material space-time did. And when you realize that probability is separated out and slowed down version of infinite, of the infinite. So, like if you were given enough time, anything could happen. No matter how low the probability was, given enough time, if you can imagine it, it would happen. So, and we imagine using an apparatus that was formed in this universe for the purpose of understanding what can and can't happen. So it's very valid. So what happens is it becomes like an interface for which we can affect probability through the cycling of thoughts into this great computer universe that serves as our graphical user interface and memory. So a prayer would be something where you feel beyond the here and now that something is wrong with the way that the world is currently working. So there's like a discrepancy between the way you think that the world should work and the way it's currently working. And so you say a prayer. Ideally, this discrepancy does not depend on what other people think. Like it's not a matter of like, I can't keep up with the Joneses, that doesn't feel right, I need a bigger house and more money. You can say prayers for stuff like that, but in the end, it's only going to hurt you because it's going to put you someplace where you're not supposed to be in your life story and path. A real prayer comes from the heart. And what I mean by that is that you know what's most important to you in your heart. If you love yourself and pay attention to yourself, like a good parent or friend would, they know what's good for you, sometimes more than you do, because you get stuck in the patterns of coping. They're like hiding from the real you because you're afraid of people's reaction, rejection, or genuinely worried you might get hurt, like I was when I was a kid. So what a real prayer is saying the world doesn't fit with what's in my heart, like why I'm here. So when you say a prayer about something like that, that is when you really get on the path to real power in your life, because power comes from knowing your strengths and weaknesses and operating according to them and seeing what you were made for, what you're supposed to be telling the world with your story, because everything is information. So we get a chance to make our souls stronger and approach the level of God more in a lifetime. So it's kind of like the Hindu idea of reincarnation. So prayers are extremely important. We talk about it as manifestation now, but you shouldn't do it flippantly. Like, I want to manifest what he's got. That is like bad. That's going to be bad for you in the long run. It's going to stop your ability in the long run to be able to do things like that anymore. Or you'll get one thing, like a lot of lottery winners, they win like millions of dollars and then 3 months later it's gone, because it wasn't money that was going to make them happy. It was and they didn't know that. They think that's why. They blamed money as a scapegoat. Then when they got it, they got the lesson that wasn't it. So this is why thinking deeply about who you are and quieting the mind and meditating is also important while you are manifesting, as you might call it, or praying, that type of thing. So that's all I wanted to say today, is that the matrix of probability is where we live. And if you go to a like a kid's gym, like this play area here, you see that there's lots of things to play on and do that exercises them, teaches them about playing with others and things like that. And it's just a little microcosm of what we're doing in our lives. So we're trying to discover what is written. We're trying to discover, above all, who we are, where we came from, and where we're going. So it's important to keep in mind, if you keep in mind as a prototype of that infinite possibility exists outside of the universe and space-time. Because when something comes to a point, this is my point, and the point of the universe, and it's funny that we use these metaphors. I said this in my other videos, is that our metaphors are very telling sometimes. There's a lot of information we can unpack from things that we didn't realize we could unpack it from. Like a tree being a symbol of the universe, like this tree right here. So you can see that its trunk doesn't have branches for a while, and then as it goes up it does, but it needs to exist and move towards the sun more so it can gather what it needs. And then it starts growing branches and splitting off and growing leaves, which directly gather the sunlight and give the tree energy and ability to grow and thrive and exist across space-time. And that's important because when we realize that all life is one, the thing that gauges whether life lives or dies in the long run is not resources or mates. That's all incidental. Those are just things that come. Like, I think it's the Islam, they're like, you get 20 virgins in heaven or something like that if you give your life. Well, whether that may or may not be actually literally true, but as a metaphor, it's good because it shows that doing some higher thing, although it gets perverted into lower things, believe me, but still, that doesn't mean that idea isn't important and that we can't learn from it, like the blind man and the elephant. So it's not that selection operates according to those things, but that meaning does. We're not looking at the bigger picture. Just like unpacking a metaphor, everything that exists is a symbol. It's like a metaphor. And when we look at these metaphors, we can understand how the universe operates. And so this is why when we say prayers, we should probably use metaphors that fit the pattern of life, because that will greatly enhance their power. And the universe knows that. If you ask for something, the universe is going to give it to you. And sometimes you don't want what you're going to get. What you really want is something else. You say you want a lot of money because you think then people will like you or something, or you'll be able to be happy. But that's an illusion because you've internalized an external standard when you need to look at your heart. See who you really are and love that. Don't love something else. And when I say love yourself, I don't mean like egotistical giving yourself stuff. That's exactly why people get fooled by symbols and money and stuff. What I mean is knowing who you are, spending the time to find out. And when you spend the time to find out, it means that you're a person who likes being with a person like you. That sounds weird, but you can, in your brain, you can not like yourself so much and think that you're so bad from something that happened to you maybe that you try to get away from yourself by buying things, getting addicted to things, getting in the wrong relationships, and basically punishing yourself because you have this program that says that you're not worthy or something. So this is like a key thing that a lot of the people that do the work on visualization and manifestation don't get, is that if you just do it detached from everything without doing the work to find out what it is that really fits with who you really are, then it's like you're negating your own existence. And that might get you things in the short run, but in the long run, it's a bad strategy. And if you look out at nature, everywhere that lesson is taught over and over and over again. That an organism that doesn't continue to grow and learn gets stuck in a rut or a niche. Once that happens, it is subject to the forces of change in a bad way. If things change too much, it dies. It can't adapt anymore. So humans have kind of internal niches because we can adapt to almost any environment through thinking. And that's telling too, because when you think and you understand things, then you can do anything. Like we can live on the moon, we can live underwater. There's pretty much nothing humans can't do given enough time and the will to do it. So that definitely applies to your life. These general patterns of information are information laws of the universe that are important for you. And that's why I wanted to talk about it. Thanks and have a great day.